a whole new year. It's the only thing that's changed. It's just the date. Everything else is the same. The other mug's in the dishwasher. But it's okay, because here we go in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. Today is Monday. It is January 4th, 2021. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. It feels like it's been forever since I've seen you. It's literally, it was last year. And there is no more dad joke than making comments about years right around the first of the year. I won't see you until next year, etc. Good morning, Andrew. Andrew says, happy 2021. Happy 2021 to you. Well, I had an incredibly restful last 3 days. New Year's Eve, I did spend some time with a few friends, and that was great, and stayed up way too late, and because of the morning routine for the fuzzy one over there, was up early on Friday, and that meant I went to bed early Friday, and you know what? Kept it going. Went to bed early Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and slept wonderfully and feel rested and healthy, and it's a great way to start the year. Sleep was good. So was coffee. So was spending time with friends. What did I do this weekend? Honestly, not a ton. Went to the gym. Friday I did work a bit. Not much, a few hours. Cleaned up the house. Tackled a project in the kitchen. The kitchen sink sprayer is leaky, so I'm trying to deal with that. But unfortunately, my kitchen sink sprayer isn't standard. I can't just go to the hardware store or even Home Depot and buy one. So now I got to track down where to get one of these, because the alternative is swapping out the whole sink. I don't want to do that either, because that'll be a pain. Actually, the alternative would probably be I'm going to find a way to seal that thing off. And just like, yeah, that's probably what I would do. Just put some kind of waterproof epoxy in the tube and just not have a sprayer. As much as I do use it. At least that's what I would do for now. Edited the book yesterday a little bit, just chipping away. You know, it is amazing. For those of you who haven't used Grammarly, you might think, oh, Grammarly, you know, what is this? Grammarly started, to my knowledge, as a web-based spell and grammar check. It's a plugin. You can get it. I know of it for Chrome. I'm assuming it's available for Firefox. And for anybody out there who uses something else, I don't know. I don't know why you're using something else, but then I looked, this is probably a year ago, and found, oh, Grammarly has a Microsoft Word plugin. So I grabbed that. The number of things that Grammarly catches that words built in spell and grammar check does not is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. So I think I said at some point last week when I started editing that the built-in spell checker in Word caught 1,100 things. Grammarly has caught an additional, I'm down to 600. I think there was another 150 or so that I dealt with yesterday. So there's another 750. And Grammarly does have a paid option, and it's claiming there are another 1,300 that they'll only tell me about in the paid version. Ugh. I might get the paid version just to find out what those are. But it's coming along. It's coming along, just chipping away, swapping some names around. You ever bump into stuff that you write and say, what did I mean here? And now you've got to go way back. You've got to go back pages sometimes and try to figure out the context of what you were trying to say, so you edit it well. That's what's going on right now in a few spots. What's going on today? Oh, well, some client work, a bunch of client work. I've got one client. For those of you that don't know, I spent a long time in IT. Did computer work for a bunch of people. Oh, and Thursday I even dealt with a IT problem for a client that was desperate. So ran over there and took care of that. It's a retail store. And I'm picky about who I'll choose as clients because if they need stuff constantly, I can't do that. I'm busy. But if you need something once in a while, yeah, I can make that work. And this morning I've got a once in a while. This guy's got this setup. He's got a office building, small office building, and he provides internet for free to his tenants, and it keeps going offline. And we've got it narrowed down to like 6 pieces of equipment in the basement. It's one of these things. He doesn't want to swap it one at a time, so we're going to end up, I'm going to go pull parts and order some things, and we're going to end up swapping the whole thing. It's going to cost a few $100. Because this is not the type of gear that tells us, oh, I'm bad. This is low-end stuff. So I'm doing that today. What's going on today? Another meeting. I think there's another meeting. Tomorrow is Whistlekick Live. It's Monday, so there's an episode out. Now, if you didn't notice, we've got videos coming now. The last, I think, 2 Thursdays, there's been an original video with Martial Arts Radio, and I forgot to talk about Martial Arts Radio on Thursday because I do that sometimes. My tablet is refusing to rotate. The battery is not doing so well. I may need to replace this thing, but I don't want to. It's so old. It's great. What do we got? Who's out today? Who did we talk to? Oh, episode 568 with Mr. Daniele Bolelli, who I learned only after has quite the following. I follow him on Twitter, and there's a bunch of people following him. It was a great conversation. Guy's done some pretty cool stuff. Interesting transition from, really traditional martial arts into. We need to find a way to term this. Some people would describe this as waking up and realizing that traditional martial arts doesn't have all the answers, but I'm going to say it differently. Waking up and realizing that your martial arts education is not as all-encompassing as your instructor may have led you to believe. Because I think that traditional martial arts does have all the answers. You just have to put them together. And you have to consider what the equation you're solving for is. None of the techniques happening in combatives or mixed martial arts or anything like that, they all come from traditional martial arts. They're all in there somewhere. There's nothing happening that is brand new. It's all there. I'm going to guess a bunch of you watched at least some of Cobra Kai this weekend. Where I get through 5, 6 episodes. I don't remember how many there are, but chipping away at it. It's good. It's not quite as good as the first 2 seasons, but it's still very good. And here's my suspicion. By going through Netflix, I'm guessing that especially after the initial splash with 1 and 2 was well received, I'm guessing that, well, actually, no. What's the timing on this? No, it was filmed before. I'm not going to say that. For those of you that don't remember, John Hurwitz, who was kind of the spearhead for Cobra Kai's been on the show. So I had a chance to ask him after the fact some things. Got to talk to him off record. And it's really good, and it still captures a lot of that magic. But I think because some of the scenarios, some of the things happening in the show have gotten really serious, I think it becomes a much more difficult thing to write and direct for. And I think that that's what they're facing. I also have an aversion to entertainment that kind of lures me in by being warm and fuzzy and then takes a hard left by being dramatic and negative. The older I get, the less I enjoy entertainment that is negative. I watched a movie yesterday. I watched a couple of them. I watched Rogue, starring Megan Fox, on Hulu. Don't bother. It was awful. It was really bad. It was as bad as it can be without me stopping it. I have walked out of theaters before. I have turned off movies before. This was and then the other thing I watched that was very interesting, and I think I'm going to say good. It was on Amazon Prime. It was a zombie movie. The night owns us. The night eats the day. Something like that. Let me see if I can find it, because I think some of you, if you enjoy zombie movies, and this one didn't have much in the way of gory stuff, which I appreciate because I'm not a big fan of gory stuff. Andrew says, my wife suggested we do a zombie episode. Sounds great. And Andrew, please remind me, I have a zombie idea that we might want to tackle. Not in the show, but just kind of outside of it. Let's see. Zombie. The night eats the world. That's what it was called. The Night Eats the World. I think if you would appreciate zombies stuff, you might like that. Check it out. Unlike any zombie movie I've seen before, and I appreciated the creativity. So that's kind of where we are. It's a new year. New goals. New. Hopefully we can shed the baggage of 2020. But here's the secret. You can always shed that baggage. You can always set that down. It doesn't take flipping over of the calendar, rather an entirely new calendar, for that to happen. You can do this at any time. Don't be afraid to shed your skin. All right. I bet there's some stuff in here for me to talk about, so let's check it out. If you've got stuff, questions and comments and feedback and any of that, this is your chance to ask me. So, ask me. Post it below. And I'll respond to it. No, this is the wrong way to do this. How are we doing this? How do I do this? Sorry, it's the new year. I don't remember how to do my job anymore. All right. Frank's got some questions, and he's got a single quote here, and we're going to lead with the quote. He's flipping it up on me. I like that. Had a good conversation with Frank. When did I talk with Frank? Wednesday? It was Wednesday we chatted. Yeah. When life gives you lemons, make a lemonade. Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie, of course, a difficult name for me to say right now, but the famous author of How to Win Friends and Influence People. That quote is so cliche. When life hands you lemon, make lemonade. Yeah. But why? Because it really is a core philosophy for life. Things aren't always going to go your way. In fact, I would venture to say things will never go exactly as planned. So how we respond becomes critical. It's sparring. It's sparring with life. You can only control how you react to things. You can't control what that person throws. You might be able to narrow up and predict what they're going to throw, but you don't know exactly. So what do? You put yourself in a good position. You become ready. You become open. And then you block and counter, right? Or whatever it is, right? You do the things that you need to do. Expect that those lemons will come. They're always going to be there. January 2021, and by the way, I'm going to have a hard time saying that. 2021 is Veganuary. Have I read The China Study by Colin Campbell or The Food Revolution by John Robbins? No. I'm unfamiliar with those books. And here's why. I don't read a lot of full books. Books are great. But here's a great example. I've had a book sitting in my bedroom that I've even carried around with me. I am halfway through it, and I started reading it 2 months ago. I've got to be in the right mood for a book, and that does not happen often. The number of books, and you know, it's people send me books, and when someone gives you a book, like, yeah, that's great. It's a gift. I appreciate it. It's very, I respect the gift. And they go on my bookshelf. But it takes time to read a book. Hours. 4, 6, 8, 12, 20 hours, depending on the size of the book. Reading that book is not a priority to me. If it was, I would have bought it. So if anybody sends me a book, know that I'm going to flip through it. I'm going to skim it. Somebody watching right now sent me a book that I really, really appreciate. But at this time in my life, I don't read books. Not too often. Too busy writing. But it doesn't. How would martial artists do in a zombie apocalypse? Andrew, that's what we got to talk about. I have some thoughts. This stage of my life will change. There is a pile of books back there that people have been sending me for years as a result of the show, authors who've been on. I think I only got like 20 pages into Junri's book, and he autographed it and sent it to me, so I don't want anybody to be offended. In the past, you mentioned that ethical concerns motivated you to become pescetarian. Did you ever consider veganism? No. So when I started off going vegetarian and took a look at my understanding of the physiological needs of the body, and dairy, yes, I'm not going to pretend that there aren't some issues in the dairy industry. I'm kind of lucky here in Vermont in that quite a few of the dairy products are done by local farmers. You know, Cabot, most of you have heard of Cabot cheese. Cabot cheese is right here. It's in Cabot, Vermont. It's over there. I can drive to it. And a lot of the farmers around here are involved in that cooperative. So if I buy cheese, it's generally Cabot. They don't do yogurt. I don't drink a lot of milk. But eggs. Honestly, eggs were the main reason that I didn't go vegan. Because I took a look at my protein needs. And I took a look at how all that works. A gram of protein is not a gram of protein. Just because it's a gram of protein doesn't mean it is as biologically available to the body as another gram of protein. What is most biologically available? Eggs. What's second? Meat. And I believe specifically red meat. So for me, where I'm at, what I eat, how I conduct my body. It's a compromise of a number of things. Where I draw my lines, I'm not saying it's where you should draw your lines. And I don't mind where you draw yours, as long as they don't impact me. I am not a preachy pescetarian. It drives me nuts when people are preachy. I do what works for me. Am I 100% guaranteed that I will never eat meat again? No, because I've changed my mind on things before. If I woke up one day and there were no eggs and I didn't have anything else and I was dying, yeah, I'd probably eat meat. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Does the idea of avoiding cruelty to animals only apply to food choices, or can it apply to other things people buy? Yeah. One of the things I find interesting, and I'm in this group, is the ethical consideration between not eating meat but wearing leather clothing. Ooh. What I find very fascinating, and I have been known to point it out at times when someone gets preachy. I've had preachy vegans talking to me and say, but your shoes are made of leather. Sometimes they don't realize that. They don't think about that. It's balance. To me, there's a difference between consuming it and wearing it. Is it a big concern? I'm trying to remember the last time I bought new. I have purchased a few new animal-based footwear products, but there have also been times where I remember there was a pair of boots, Lems, L-E-M-S. They make some. They're not the most attractive shoes. I will freely admit that, but they're very comfortable, very lightweight. I found them to be quite durable. When I bought my second pair, I had the option between buying a leather pair and their vegan line. I bought the vegan shoes. There's nothing in them. Nothing in them but canvas and glue and rubber. I think when the subject of vegetarianism and veganism, whatever, when it comes up, I think the most important thing is for people to be aware of what they're doing. If you are aware that the hamburger you eat comes from a cow, and that creates a sense of understanding, maybe even respect or reverence for what's going in your body, by all means, keep eating it. I'm not going to pretend that my choice should be yours. I think one of the worst things we can do is become detached from the very things that nourish our body. And I don't just mean food, I mean air and water and light and people, right? The things that make us come from a wide variety of sources. And I think that awareness of that is important. I have a tendency to take too big of bites and eat too quickly. What was I eating the other day that happened? And like I had to drink water because I was half choking. Like this happens more often than I'd like to admit because I'm trying to move on to the next thing. And whenever that happens, it reminds me, hey, Jeremy, time to slow down. Appreciate the food going into your body. Peanut butter happens a lot with peanut butter with me. And I think we got one more. Do you have any favorite nonprofits that deal with these issues? No. No, in fact, I am all of the, actually stop. Let me stop for a second. Think. No, because I don't think that this is I don't think this is a nonprofit problem. I think this is a marketplace problem, a market problem, a free market problem. The only meal kit that I ever did was something called Hungry Root, and it was all vegan, and it was great. And it gave me ideas on how to prepare food and got me to look at food differently, which was my favorite thing about it. I had to stop doing it because FedEx was leaving the boxes a day late on the ground in the sun. And I think it was like the third or fourth time Hungry Root had to refund my money that I said, this is just dumb. I feel bad for these people. I feel bad for me. I'm planning my meals around it, and it's not working out. So, but this was a couple years ago. Andrew says that he also eats too fast. Yeah, it's not a good thing. There's a lot of digestion that happens in the mouth, both from breaking food down small because of chewing, as well as some predigestion from saliva. We really should be chewing more often than we do, or more frequent, more just chewing more. I don't know. Can't chew my coffee; it's not that thick. What I don't like is when there's an agenda behind people's ethics. And if someone's presenting, let's say somebody comes forward and they say, you know what, I don't like when this isn't me, but let's pretend it was for a moment. Let's say I come on the show and I say, you know what, I don't think any of you should eat meat, and here's why. And I present my beliefs. You're going to say yes, or you're going to say no. You're going to agree or not. Take it at face value. Maybe I even get preachy about it. Maybe I lose some viewers over it. Fine. But what if then you also find out that I stand to benefit if you stop eating meat? And this is my issue with the documentary Game Changers. What was his name? The dude that spearheaded it. He's been on the show. He was on Martial Arts Radio. Can't remember his name. But there are people behind that movie, that documentary, that stand to benefit when you stop eating meat. They own vegan protein companies and things like that. If you're going to challenge someone on their ethical beliefs, you should not be profiting on their decisions. If what you are doing is so right, it'll connect anyway. That's where I have a hard time, because it gives the opportunity for corruption. I'm not saying that happened. I'm not saying it will happen in the example I'm giving you. I'm saying it could, and it's why we've never It's why I'm so picky about Martial Arts Radio and what we do. It's why I'm picky about the guests we take. Who was it? I had somebody, there's somebody that their promotional team has emailed me like 4 times. And I just don't like the way they're putting this person forward. It seems slimy to me. And I'm trusting my gut. We're not putting them on the show. We don't take money. I've had people offer me a discount or a kickback if we use a promotional code. And I said, no, just roll that into the discount. If you want to give a 15% discount off something and you want to give me 15%, I'd rather you give the listeners 30. I'm not going to take your money. If anybody ever sent me money for something like that, I would just donate it. It's not happening. Because it's a slippery slope and I won't cross that line. And in an era of podcasting when, some of the podcasts that I started listening to years ago very clearly seem to have gone what I call pay to play. It's all about pumping up whatever this person's done. It makes me distrust the host. And I hope that you all never distrust what we do. I think we're pretty clear about how we make money. And the shows that we put out, we do it so you hopefully stick around and want to support us. That's it. It's a pretty simple business model. Well, okay. So, I think that's it for today. Interesting subject. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate those questions. Stacy says, you are truly genuine. Have a great day. Happy first week of the new year. Thank you. And you. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you coming by. I hope you leave some questions, some comments in the comment section after the show closes, and I'll respond to them tomorrow. Don't forget, Whistlekick Live tomorrow at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and this show is every weekday, 6:30 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. So, I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Peace.